All right, so let's talk about these rocks that I'm about to run out of down here. So my brother and sister-in-law and nephews and niece, they live overseas, and they're in the States visiting a while back, and one of the nephews was wandering around the ranch out here, and my sister-in-law is not an outdoor person at all, and so her little son is wandering around having a great time finding rocks everywhere, and he's picking them up and setting them on the table and all this, telling his mom, look at all these rocks, and then he says he wants to take them home, and I can see she's just livid, right? Well, they're traveling international, and their bags are weighed, right, and they're full already, and anyway, so they've got this conundrum where the kid wants to take some of the rocks home, and they don't have enough room, weight, space, etc. And really, shipping rocks is not something you really want to spend your money on, right? So anyway, she nudges my brother and like, hey, get this under control, basically, right? So he looks at his son and he's like, hey, you can only take like five rocks. And he's like, oh, all right. So I don't know, he was 5 or 6, and the kids are smart, right? So he figures it out. So he comes with this big rock then. He puts it up there and he takes some of the other rocks out of the way. He's like, oh, okay. So he's starting to collect big rocks now. And I can see sister-in-law's mad again. And she starts like, fuming and nudging my brother and like, hey, get this under control. And so now my brother's like, what's he gonna say? And the kid's telling him, my nephew's like, well, you said I could have 5. And so I decide to step in and help. Not help. And it wasn't on purpose, I swear. I say dumb shit sometimes. It just came out. I'm sorry. Apologize. So I look at the rocks he's got, and they're the big rocks. And I was like, ooh, hey. And I tell my nephew, hey, don't take the big ones. Those are my breeding rocks, right? Not even thinking. And so again, he's 5 or 6. They haven't had this kind of conversation, and I just see them both look at me like, really? So the breeding rocks, yes. And he didn't quite understand what that was, but he wasn't going to question it. But I was like, yeah, you can't take the big ones because those are my breeding rocks. And yeah, so that's the story of the breeding rock. I had already told him I might run out of rocks, and he had just looked at me like I was an idiot. Don't take all my rocks. And he was like, what? Again, he was polite, didn't say anything, didn't question me, but he just looked around. He looked all over, looked at us. He just kind of looked at me like, you're freaking stupid, right? You're gonna run out of rocks. So yeah. So number one, I told him I'm gonna run out of rocks. He didn't believe me, and then I pop off with don't take my breeding rocks, the big ones, and that was my help. Not sure how that conversation went later. I never heard. I just got the evil eyes and the looks, and so yeah, there's the story of the breeding rocks, and I'm going to run out. So now it's a standing joke when I come out here. I'm like, hey, might run out of rocks. You better hurry up and get some while they last, right? So that's where that comes from. Ladies have showed up. Let's switch over and take some video of the ladies here.